Let's make another card using the Heirloom Arrangements kit. This is such a great kit. Make sure that you purchase another one of this kit so that you can continue making more cards with this. It is absolutely fabulous. Let's look over some of the items that we're going to be using for the next card. We're going to be using the Heirloom Arrangement stamps that are in with the stamp set. We are also going to be using some pecan pie, the ink that comes with this, so we're going to be using pecan pie. For this, I'm going to be using the Spotlight on Nature dies, and I like these because they have some designs on them, and we're going to be using these ones to create some circles with some of the scraps we're going to be using. In the ephemera packs, there are some labels, and we're going to be using one of the longer labels, either the short one or the longer one. It's totally up to you. We need to have a piece of basic white that is 2.5 by 5 1/4. We're going to be doing some work on that, so let's place that aside. We have another piece of basic white, and this is going to be the inside of our card. I have a piece of scrap basic white, and we're going to be using that with the dies and cutting some of the items out. We have a piece of pecan pie, and we're also going to be using that as a scrap and cutting out some dies with this. We have our card base with that, and all I'm going to do is score it down the middle. Okay. I have created a card base, and it will be landscaped like this, but what we need to do is do a little bit of cutting. We're going to cut off 1/2 of the front here on the bottom. There we go. We're going to cut that off, and that is going to become our card base. We have some gold open weave ribbon, and we're going to be looking through the ephemera packs that are in there. We're looking for this clump of flowers that has blue and a little bit, this one here. We're going to be taking this one out. We're also going to be looking for a butterfly, and I'm going to be using this little blue one here. We want some more flowers, and I'm going to be looking at the bouquet that has the blue and a little bit of a brown in it and a green. So let's pop those out also. So those are the ephemera pieces that we are going to be using. Before we get any further with this, let's place those aside and do some cutting with the cardstock. So there's the pecan pie, that is a scrap piece, and there's a piece of basic white. Whenever you use the dies, just make sure that the pieces of cardstock are larger than the dies that you're going to be using. I'm using the largest die from the Spotlight in Nature, and I'm going to pop that out. So I have the Spotlight in Nature, and I've chosen the one with the nice design around it. So there are some holes around their edges. I'm going to take my little brush, and I'm going to push through on those little holes. And you can see the nice design all the way around. So we have the nice design all the way around. I'm going to be using another of the dies, and I'm going to cut out a piece from the basic white. And I'm going to lay that. That piece of basic white is slightly smaller than the pecan pie. I'm going to lay it down, and you can see the difference in size. I'm going to take the piece of basic white, and I want to add some design onto this piece. I'm going to look in the Heirloom Arrangement stamp, and there's this one with the little hash marks on it. And I'm going to be stamping that all on this piece of white. I'm going to ink it up with a pecan pie and just stamp. You can see that it is now filled on the stamp. I can take the pecan pie, and I'm actually going to glue those two together. Okay. I'm going to let that dry and set that aside. I'm going to bring back in the cardstock here, and what I have is I have a piece of basic white, which is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and that will go on the inside. You can see it fits all the way around. I'm going to fit that on just like that. On the front goes a piece of basic white, just like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to add some more of those little hash marks on here to give it some design. Now I haven't totally filled this one with that. What I want to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of dimension to this, and I'm going to run it through the embossing machine. You can leave it just the way it is, or you can add some piece of the 3D embossing folders. And I'm looking for one with a very subtle design. We're going to have that, and we want a little bit of design on it like that. So you can see that it does add a little bit to it. Let's bring back in our card base. That's going to go on top. We're going to glue that down. Go. We're going to bring back in our circle, and we're going to place that on top. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some height to that. I can offset it a little bit, but I think I'm going to place it right on the center, and we're going to add some dimensionals to that. Now we're just going to be adding dimensionals to the top portion, not to the whole card. So when we open it, you can see there's no glue on the inside. We're going to get our flowers and lay them on like this, and a little bit like that with the butterfly. But before I do that, I'm going to add in some ribbon. We're going to add the ribbon in and secure it down on the one side and secure it down on the other. We're going to add some dimensionals to the back of those ephemera packs. This one goes on that side. One over here. And one on our little butterfly. Whoops. Okay. We're going to add our sentiment, have a little tag, and add our sentiment. And we can place that on with a little thank you there. Stamp it with a pecan pie. And add that to the front. We're just going to tuck that under the butterfly a little bit. Add a dimensional. Remember to make sure it lands on that front part of the little circle. You can always take a look at some various embellishments that you have and add those in if you like. And there we go. What a beautiful card.